I just got back from Malaysia and I'm about to tell you how it went. So before I even get into Malaysia, let me just kick off by starting from the beginning. So we pre-booked the Gatwick Express and we had to leave from Victoria Station. So we're thinking, all right, cool. Shutters are down, no problem, innit? We'll go to the other entrance. So we head to the other entrance and then we're met with this huge sign, and the sign was basically informing us that there was a tube strike that day. That's like the last thing you need to hear when you're in a rush. So yeah, there and then we had to just jump in an Uber and fly to the airport. So when we got to the airport, we did all the usual stuff and then we went to the priority lounge. It was my first time in the priority lounge. I've never actually been to one before. You know how people talk about it? I was expecting like luxury, I was expecting to be wined and dined, I was expecting the facilities to be clean, the food to be like creme de la creme, but it was pretty underwhelming, I'm not gonna lie. First thing you'll notice leaving the airport is the humidity. It's very aggressive. It just hits you, and if you're not used to it, it will definitely take you a minute. If you're a sweater like me, just be prepared from the outset. Bring a rag or flannel, an extra shirt, sunscreen, a cross bag, and then yeah, I think it'll be nice. One thing I'll say though, nobody in this country sweats. It's like everybody has an internal aircon installed in their bodies. I don't recall seeing anyone sweat. Speaking of preparation, here's 4 essentials I'd recommend if you hit Malaysia. So my first recommendation would be sign up for a Wise card. You'll benefit from better exchange rates, lower fees than banks, and the ability to hold multiple currencies. So in other words, if you country hop, you don't have to exchange money, you don't have to worry about anything. On this one card, you can just use it at your will, and the bank, well, Wise, does all the currency exchanging for you. So it's an amazing tool and I definitely think you should grab one. Speaking of Grab, my second recommendation is to download the Grab app. Essentially, this is equivalent to Uber and Uber Eats in the UK. It covers you for transport, food delivery, digital payments, and even loans now, apparently. So my third recommendation is to buy an eSIM. Don't get me wrong, SIM cards are great when you can actually find them. eSIMs are super convenient and they're easy to install, so it's just download, go, download, go. My fourth recommendation, and this one's a bit of a wild card, but my fourth recommendation is wearable aircon. I'm gonna let that sink in. Do I need to explain why this is useful? Come on, brother. Do I? Okay, so now we got all that out of the way. Let's get things back on track. Alright, cool. So look, I've been traveling for 14 plus hours. I'm tired. I want to freshen up. I'm still adjusting to the weather. I'm having visions in the taxi of my Airbnb smelling of oud, the shower water massaging my skin. Literally, as we pass each floor on the way to our floor, I grab the key, I open the door, and I'm like, yes, finally.
But wait till you see the look on his face when I walk through the door.
This is fucking madness.
I've made a critical error on my Airbnb reservation.
So we start looking around, and as you can see, the discount that we got doesn't actually feel like a deal anymore. It feels like we got scammed. So we had to Phil Mitchell the thing. We called the host like, yo, bad man, like, welcome to the room, Regin. Mind you, we actually paid for the day before just so we could avoid shit like this. So the host said he's gonna send the lads. The lads arrived with the gear, and by this point, I've checked out, so I'm kind of 50-50 at this point. After a while, I came to my senses and I was like, nah, this is mad. I'm not staying here. We booked whatever we could find at such short notice. Luckily, there were places available, but spending $1,000 as soon as you land is the most annoying thing. But so yeah, we touched down at the Ascot. It was actually one of the spots on the shortlist, so I had a vague idea as to what to expect, or at least I thought so. I walked into the lobby and it was just packed, bro. I'm seeing families, kids, elderly people. It was like the Royal Rumble on steroids, and that's never usually a good sign. So we had to double check. We booked a room, we confirmed we have a room, but the room we booked and confirmed wasn't actually ready. Malaysia, my dog. What's going on, man? This wasn't a great start. I ain't gonna lie, this wasn't a great start. After a few hours, they notified us that the room was ready, and I'm just relieved at this point. So the room was a studio. It was really spacious, but the decor was a little bit business trip, but overall I think it was way better than that stupid Airbnb. Some of my favorite features of the room was the actual space, man. The space in the room, the space in the shower. I also like the fact that they had a bidet. I didn't use it personally, but yeah, man, I like the fact that they had a booty hose.
Booty hose.
Hey, shout out A-Man, bro. Shout out A-Man. Something I saw that actually got me curious was halal water. So my Muslim brothers and sisters, I'm a learner. If you can explain to me what that is, I'd appreciate it so much. I've never heard of that in my life. But yeah, man, Ascot, serious hotel. So we started the day nice and early. After a rocky start, I was determined to make the most of the days ahead. So I love food, desserts, cakes. So I love bakeries. And bakeries is the first thing we hit up on day 2 in Malaysia. Villa Bakery Cafe was the first one. And it was cool. They had a decent selection of bits to grab. It was a Sunday, so I'm not sure if that affected the menu in any way, but it was alright, it was alright. I'd rate the service and the cleanliness and the food about a 6 out of 10. But yeah, definitely go check it out. The second bakery was Le Bread Days. This spot definitely had those contemporary minimalist vibes going on, and the customer service was actually really good. And the food was proper. It was proper food, man. I got the big breakfast. It was quite nice. So I'd rate the service, the cleanliness, and the food about 8 out of 10.
Hotel to Tipping at the yacht is only 10 to 15 minutes.
So one of my personal favourite things on this trip was our visit to the Huskies Dog Cafe. Huskies is a dog cafe, but they only have Huskies in there. If you're a dog lover or even someone just looking for a unique experience, then this is something I'd highly recommend. It costs around 110 ringgit, which is about £20. So you get 45 minutes to an hour with the dogs, and there's also a seating area so you can get served hot and cold drinks, which is a nice touch. One thing I want to say is the staff are really knowledgeable on each dog. You'd expect that, but I really appreciate the detail and how they're so willing to answer questions and educate you on every single dog. So for that, I'd say my experience was an 8 out of 10. So salute the staff for their commitment to looking after and training these animals, car. They're not little pups. They're not little pups. Hey, let's talk about the nightlife, man. If you're looking for some vibes, look no further than Bukit Bintang. If you're familiar with central London or any major city, then this might be your place. Bukit Bintang is a melting pot of a bunch of different happenings. You got shopping malls, you got local shops, Western and Middle Eastern restaurants. They have everything besides a Jamaican restaurant.
It must be mad in.
I even saw Mandem. I felt right at home, bro. Disclaimer, I saw these gentlemen in what appeared to be the red light district. My hunch is they got lost and they were exploring just like me. But most importantly, you can find Jalan Alor street food, and at first, it's a little overwhelming because there's so many people, but you get used to it. So my top tip is decide on what cuisine you want. Pick a spot that has customers but doesn't look too chaotic. So what I mean by that is just take a minute to watch how they work, because I don't know about you, but service and the quality of the food and how things run is very important to me. And if you can see an establishment seemingly runs well, then yeah, you got yourself a winner. Yo, I realized they're not ramping with food. They are not ramping with food, bro. It's affordable, it's delicious. What need I say more? I want to know, has anyone ever climbed 272 steps at ridiculous temperatures with camera gear and monkeys trying to rob you? Well, I did, just so I can get you lot some views of the Batu Caves. Do not let this video fool you. Climbing these stairs will be challenging for some, but once you're inside, you probably forget all about it. Well, I fucking did it, mate. I was out of breath, mate. So entry to the caves was free. Well, I just walked in it, so I don't know if it's actually free. Maybe you can check out prices for tours, but if you visit Malaysia, don't miss this. You've seen it here, but in person, it's a whole different experience. And remember to pay. Do not just walk in. So a holiday doesn't always feel like a holiday when I'm leaving one big city just to go to another. Enter Langkawi. Langkawi is an island 30 kilometers off the coast of northwestern Malaysia. Heading there wasn't initially the plan, but we thought, heard so much about it, let's just roll. So you can travel by air and by train. If you've got 7 hours to kill, yeah, you can do the train thing. But the plane is a short ride. It's literally just one Netflix episode and you're there. So the hotel, the name, man. I don't remember the name, but the hotel was nice though. I remember it being fairly new. So new in fact, they were still doing construction on the hotel when we arrived. Literally like man drilling on top of your head when you're like at the reception desk. So please be careful when you go there. If they're still doing construction, just be sure to let them know that you want a room on the quieter side of the hotel. One of my highlights was parasailing. It was a spontaneous thing, I admit. I was a little nervous, but when you're up there, it's like being on like a floating swing. It's pretty cool. At one point I was stressing, I was like, yo, you can't swim, bro. Like, what if the rope malfunctions? What if you'll never be able to see Chelsea win the Champions League again? Another highlight for me was the Mangrove tour. A Mangrove tour is a boat tour that takes visitors through the mangrove forest. These tours are bad, not bad, good for the views. And they're great for people that want to be closer to nature. This was like my first time seeing eagles. I was expecting to actually feed some, but the weather wasn't really working with us that day, so we didn't get to do that. Either way, it was a great experience and something I'd highly recommend to those that visit. Overall, I'm giving Langkawi a 7 out of 10. I think it'd get more, but I'm just a city boy at heart, so there's certain things I'm so used to, like shops or access to a variety of different things at my fingertips. But it's a great island, man, and I don't want anything I've said to deter you from visiting, because there's just so much in a small place. But yeah, Malaysia. Look, I couldn't fit everything into this video, but I'd recommend couples, solo travelers, families, go there. Just go. Most people speak English. As long as you got Grab, you're easy. As long as you got cash in most places, you're good. But the Wise card is all you pretty much need. Yeah, man, I would definitely go to Malaysia, 100%. I think it surprised me. It really did surprise me, and I'm for sure I'm gonna head back sooner rather than later. But the journey continues. Marhaba, Habibi. Yeah, next stop, Dubai.
Back in time. Hungry but no appetite. The way she love her phone, it's like I'm Adam in Apple's wife. Never buy the apple when these bitches feed you apple pie, but never run my Mac for any kitty like an apple guy. I'm tryna back.